Yeah.
And we're live.
What's really going on? 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 What's really
What's really going on? Hey y'all, how y'all doing? Y'all all right? I mean, what's really going on? It's your girl Tilted Halo, also known as your girl Keita, sitting alongside my good girlfriend Karen Sims of Twisted Threads LLC and the lovely lady herself, the Queen, the recent birthday princess, much like myself, Natural D. And we are here tonight bringing you that show that you all have embraced tremendously. We absolutely appreciate every single one of you. We are Unhinged Live. Before we get into it, I got to familiarize you all with what's getting ready to happen on tonight's show. And I said, we got some new viewers in the chat. We're going to go ahead and acknowledge y'all a little bit later on in the show. Of course, we are going to give a super fan shout out on tonight, express some of our own personal views from the petty pew. Of course, we're going to have testimony time because we love to share about the goodness of the Lord in our lives. And of course, we're going to get into that hefty roundtable conversation a little bit later on in the show and possibly have a surprise guest for y'all, and what's really going on. And we're going to, of course, I'm sorry, I'm excited. Wrap it up pretty much with a reflection of purpose. Karen Sims gives us some food to continue to feed our souls week after week. And I know one thing, I have absolutely benefited from every single word that my sister friend has shared here on the platform. I know if it's been impactful for me, I know it's been impactful for each and every one of you. So thank you again, every one of you, for tuning in on tonight. So before we get into it, I got to check in on y'all. D, how you doing?
Listen, I'm doing well. Out here trying to figure out why it's dark at 7 o'clock, but it's fine. But all is well in my world. How are you?
I'm doing all right. We still running away from these confused yellow jackets and honeybees because last week it was about 50 degrees and we required heaters and people had started taking air conditioners out the window. And now we are living in a balmy 80-degree, bright, sunny weather environment here in the Lehigh Valley. My allergies don't know what's really going on. So y'all continue to pray my strength.
Same.
Listen, Karen, how you doing on this evening?
I'm taking the time to breathe. We getting close to some things, and so breathing and a lot of prayer. But we doing okay. I think I got one more day in the office. And then as you refer to it, the coronation festivities
Yeah.
starting. So
Woo!
yeah, that's Auntie, listen, the whole
Yeah.
fan, okay? I need a
Yeah.
whole HVAC system over here with all that's going on. But I'm grateful to know that I'm aware of what day it is, and we're gonna get into some things today because as always, our real life conversations turn into some of our favorite shows. So I'm excited to get into the topic today, but happy to know that y'all doing well. I don't know, I ain't seen no bees down here. I'm not saying they not here. They just ain't bothering us. That's what I'm gonna say for right now.
Child,
So,
child, when I got home last night, Jiminy Cricket was on my porch waiting for me, and I had to make sure he didn't hippity hop his hind parts into my front door. As I got in from work last night, I actually saw a lantern fly for the first time this season because word on the streets is that it moved on past my little section in New Jersey, and I'm absolutely grateful that I didn't have to deal with them ugly legged bugs this year the way we have in years past. I'm just sitting here waiting for your coronation. So y'all hear us use that word. I've been saying it for the last couple of weeks. We are swiftly approaching Karen's wedding weekend, y'all. My girl is finna jump the broom on Sunday. So I've affectionately been referring to it as Karen's coronation because Karen's rip, Karen's Boaz has been about that Karen life, and he has made it his business to make sure he gets her to the altar to make her his forever. I am absolutely excited to be a part of this experience with you, Karen. Our story began a long time ago, our friendship, and I promise you it was absolutely divinely orchestrated. All right, even if we didn't understand it in its fullness then, baby, the conversations I'm having with God in this season about where we're getting ready to head after this, be ready to have your edges pushed back a little bit further. God is fitting to absolutely blow your mind. See what happens when you operate in wisdom?
Yeah.
What happens when you consult the Lord? He prepares a table for you.
Yeah.
A mighty bountiful spread that might be a little bit bamboozled, like, ooh, I truly may not have room enough to receive this. But as I'm talking to you, Karen, right now in this moment, I'm grateful that I know your capacity to love from a friendship standpoint. So I know that you fitting to become a bad mama jamma times 5 after you enter into this here covenant. Because what I've observed about my brother-in-law to this day, one thing I don't doubt is that he loved him some Karen, honey. And there's no lengths he wouldn't go to put a smile on your face. So I'm grateful again for how God is increasing your territory, and even adding to your quiver of children. Most people don't typically tend to talk about what happens when you get married at a latter part of your life's journey and all that it actually entails.
Oh yeah.
And the coming together. So we're going to get into that a little bit later on in the show. I don't want to jump the gun on the in-depth conversation I'm excited to have on tonight. So can I get that drum roll, Karen? Can I get that drum rolled up?
Oh Lord, I got to get in position, but we can get.
All right. You know what time it is. It is time for tonight's super fan shout out. And I've got to go ahead and give a huge shout out to one of my favorite teachers. She may be a few years my junior, but I have observed her walk. I have observed her ministry. I have observed her zeal and the way she pursues God's heart. So tonight's superfan shout out goes to our very own sister, Minister Tamara Williams. That's right. Clap it up for Minister Tam. All right. Tam has been an awesome encouragement and support to so many different young women. And she has been extremely transparent in her journey, y'all, where she's asking God about every single iota of her life. She's seeking to have her steps ordered. So Tam, this one's for you, sis. I appreciate you. I appreciate the smile on your face. I appreciate every single time you laugh, because that's one thing I know about you. You actually shared. That's how God, you like to hear God communicate with you in laughter. Joy is actually one of your superpowers. So I'm blessed by the amazing wife you are, by the tireless parent you are, carting your children back and forth to different girls' sports and tween day party events. Girl, you are a superhero. So we want to go ahead and celebrate you on tonight, Minister Tam. Do I see a church finger, Donnell?
Oh, child, I was trying to fix my setup. But listen, we love Tam.
Yes.
We're here for it. Listen,
Yes.
We also have to add
support.
author and entrepreneur to that list as well. So
Yes.
Absolutely.
And not only is she author and entrepreneur, y'all know she's also a fellow Trailblazer Award nominee.
Yes, she
That's
is.
right. Minister Tam has been nominated for the Trailblazer Award for her authorship. Now, many of you may or may not know that she's penned quite a few books to this date. I believe at this point there's actually 3. Let me look. Well, actually, it's a couple of them back here in my collection, because I've enjoyed everything that she has shared. That she's received directly from the foot of the throne of God. And that how she shared it to impact and change lives forever. Thank you for your testimony, Tam. We really appreciate you. And keep on dancing. I'm grateful that you're healing and you actually got to take your first walk after surgery. So yeah, if you can't dance, we know the young lioness is gonna dance for you. All right.
Absolutely.
So check it out. We got to get it started, y'all, because
okay.
I just been going through some things and just coming out of my birthday season, and I've been kind of petty lately, y'all. I've just been kind of petty lately. And I've been talking to God, and he often reminds me that he's given me a platform where I can utilize that pettiness to bring some joy through this joy tsunami into everyone's lives. So earlier today, I sent you ladies a video where a young woman was expressing her disappointment with us Gen X grandparents and how we do not care to necessarily keep the kids. So y'all can, or they can go out. I'm sorry, I'm telling my business. So they can go out and have a weekend of big fun with the ratchet. All right, now sister girl goes in and criticizing, I guess, her mama, her auntie, those of us who fall in a particular age bracket that we're referred to as Gen X's, and we just ain't got time for the pain, clearly. Yeah. This video was also accompanied by some commentary by a young man who added his thoughts to the conversation. And he also threw in there that the children that the Gen X's birthed are the millennials that we have a problem with taking care of their children. They're the product of us. So, I felt some type of way when that young man had said that, because I have my own testimony of rearing my own children during the rearing season and not having the ability to drop them off so I could go out on the weekend and have big fun with the ratchet. Now, D, you sitting there giving us rich auntie vibes. I know you can you can go ahead and throw something in on this conversation too, because we understand how rich aunties move. Y'all be involved in the children's lives too. You are a mother to them girls as well. So I'm certain you have some perspective to add to this conversation. What you got to say, D?
So first and foremost, as an elder millennial, apparently, because I got threw in under the bus because I'm originally Gen Y. I don't know where this millennial foolishness came from, so I'm a Zennial. Who also has Gen X siblings and baby boomer parents. The problem is, y'all just be upset that y'all ain't put the distance in there correctly in your lineage, because that's the problem. Because it wasn't grandma and papa, it was auntie that said, I got the kids. I got the girls. Listen, the auntie hair salon was open on Saturday. So because my babies with the homecoming. Listen, you just say your parents needed to add a sibling to the bunch. Because I'm also trying to understand where y'all going. What big fun y'all trying to do with the ratchet? Where you going? Where you going? Because my brothers understood the assignment of, okay, well, where I go, they go. So the only thing I'm gonna ask is, you want to join us on vacation? Not this time, bro.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, some of this is you can't be mad because they took care of you. You mad at the latchkey kid generation? Like
That was
I don't
us. Oh, I'm
right.
sorry.
Like I don't understand. Like understand. We all done been through a lot. It's your turn. Thank you. Amen. Keep it moving.
Amen and amen again. You know, you got them pretty flowers on your head right now. You're shining, sis. And I just feel a tsunami of commentary about to flow from your lips, Miss Cash Money.
Let
All
me
right.
go hard cash. Okay? I'm going to turn this fan and drink this water out of this red cup. See, here's the deal, okay? Yes, we did spend time at grandma and auntie's house. I agree with Natural D. There was some distance. They was done. So we could drop the kids off because they was done.
Right.
Fill in the blank with they was done however you want to. They married, they tired, they sitting down somewhere. We getting married, not tired, ain't sitting down nowhere. But here's a couple of things that I want to remind folk, okay? Everybody knew when they saw me, who else you saw? Every last
The
one.
children.
All of
If
them.
somebody was missing, it'd be like 1, 2, 3. Wait, somebody missing. Nobody would know who was missing, but they knew how many was supposed to be behind me, beside me, in front of me, or around me, because that was how I rolled. When I got pregnant with my first child, my mother sent me a news article, and the news article was like, hello, Emily, one of them tell you what to do columns, and it was,
Dear Abby.
I'm your mother, not your babysitter. These your children. Take good care of them. Swing them on by to get some sweets and treats. I'm going to love them up and send them on back to you. So I had that portion of it. Now, my family was very involved in the raising of my children, but we really didn't grow up in an environment where you just drop kids off. Okay. Even for my grandchildren, like my daughter was in the places, it's like, I'm gonna need an entire background check. I need to know who all over there. Do the police got any reports? Does the FBI know anything about this? Because we just didn't roll like that. Like you had 2 or 3 families outside of grandma and auntie. My kids spent time with their auntie. My nephew and niece spent time with me. That was how that went back and forth. Now, here's to the real problem at hand and why I'm not watching these children, because y'all like to take flights and y'all not going up the street. Y'all trying to leave the country. I'm talking specifically because 2 years ago, last September, my daughter left 4 children with me. Okay. Don't ask me how this happened because I just was, I was missing the kids and had lost my mind, called 911. But she left me here with 4 children. Okay. And then somehow got 2 extra days out of it because the flight was out of country and we got to do extra stuff. So you know what's not happening no more? You ain't dropping these kids also over here. Listen, let me tell you something. Even when they come to visit, I need to know you got gas money, how long you gonna be gone, where you going, is there any difficulties or detours on the way? And this is almost like, you remember back in the day, we would choose godparents because it would be like, if something happened to me, the kids gonna stay with you. Anytime these kids say they got a headache, I go into intercessory prayer, because what we're not going to do is have me raising these grandchildren. I'm not doing it. And because they missed that one flight, it's going to be a while. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. So the bottom line is, don't abuse the time that you have with grandma and auntie, and maybe you could have more time. The test comes when you're going to do the laundry and you say, I'm going to be going for an hour, and then we don't see you till 8 p.m. It's your fault. Y'all got to be consistent in how y'all coming through because it's a problem. And now my memory is, you left me here and one of them kids wasn't potty trained when they came.
Girl, and I only had 1 diaper. What? Oh, I'm sorry.
He was potty trained when he left though, because we don't play that. But it's a lot of work raising these kids. They more active in different things that we may or may not know about. And at the end of the day, I didn't sign on. I ain't doing it. So don't ask me, can you drop some kids off over here unless you got a permission slip. And I need emergency contact on who gonna come and get these kids if you can. And then we could worry about it. That's all I got to say for it. Don't come for me. I love my grandchildren. I'll send them whatever, but you can't drop these kids off because y'all not trustworthy.
Girl, listen, maybe I think my oldest daughter, I promise you, she got an attitude with me to this very day because I guess she thought I was playing because I said it to both she and Lene. I was like, look, if y'all have these children, y'all gonna take care of them. I see you. So check it out. Before I get into my commentary, I see that Ann Taylor, welcome to the show, sis. You have a question. Latchkey generations. Please explain these terms. Listen, you remember we refer to the latchkey generations as those of us who had a key to get in the house because mom and them were not at home when we got out of school in the afternoon. So we had specific instructions. We came home from school. We got in the house. We took off our school clothes, put on our play clothes, and we were supposed to be in the house doing our homework, but 8 out of 10 times we was outside running the street because we knew when mama and them was gonna pull up, or we was in the room watching all the afternoon cartoon favorites again because we knew when mama and them was fitting to pull up. But you know, they caught on to us and they started walking in the house, just putting their hands on the back of the TV and just knew it was warm. We was in there getting doing things we weren't supposed to do. So you know, we might have got popped a time or two. So I hope that explanation helps you understand the latchkey. Yes, Miss D.
I'm gonna add to that. We are also the generation where the parents said, "Get out my house," and you did not come back until the street lights came on, and you had the key, and you marched yourself right on in. And you may or may not knew how to cook yourself something by the age of 10.
Right? Oh, and check this one out. You want to talk about the food? We got in the house, and that's when we actually used to sit down at the table and have a meal as a family. Yeah. But here's the interesting part about that time of my life. Girl, memories like the corners of my mind. Listen, remember when we used to sit at the table and they served us something that we didn't like? What was our choice? To
go to bed.
You gonna eat what's on that plate, or you going to bed hungry? Wasn't nobody fixing 4-5 different meals because this one was gluten intolerant, and this one was a vegetarian, and this one just didn't like.
Well, caveat: my mom only did that depending on what she made because somebody was highly allergic to a certain item.
And the only reason why she accommodated that because whoever it was probably almost died and she had to rush into the ER to find out what happened.
The throat almost closed. Yeah.
So, you almost got shut down. Yo, look.
Somebody didn't like.
Yo, wait a minute. Let me check the window. Is there somebody at the door? Yo, we got a visitor at the door, girl.
Is the porch light on?
Porch light is on.
Porch light is on. We got home training, so we're gonna let our guests in right now. Hold on. Hey. Oh my goodness. Hey, girl.
You guys are
our super fan shout out in the flesh. Welcome.
I called her name. Yay. And she came running.
I am straight off of picking up kids from Dan. So I love y'all. But I heard somebody's getting married. Oh.
Someone is getting married.
How
You know,
exciting.
and it's an interesting thing. And Tam, we just were like, as the conversation happened, these are like girlfriend conversations that we have, and it's real stuff. And Tilted, you let me know how we gonna proceed, but we're gonna get into some of that because I have some questions, comments,
Absolutely.
and concerns.
It's gonna be
And
all good. It's gonna be great. I cannot wait to hear.
We know you got us. Now you came in the door laughing at us. You already see we on one. We stay
Yes,
on one because we are
yes.
Unhinged
But you
Live.
know
It's a whole
what?
joy tsunami. What's up?
I actually love talking to either single people or people newlyweds. Like I love that phase because it's the beautiful part of the butterfly. So, it's the been married 10 to 15 years folks like that are difficult. But the beginning is I love it.
So
love
listen, it was absolutely ordained that you were available to sit
I
in with us
know
on
God is good.
tonight. I was so excited. I said, "Girl, look, Tam coming on tonight. Look at the Lord
Yay!
spoiling you,
I'm
Cash."
so he is. Look at that.
So yeah, we're gonna double back to this piece of this millennial babysitting the grandchildren in all this conversation. Like I was saying, my oldest daughter is probably mad at me to this day because I was very clear to both of my daughters: when you have your children, hear me and hear me well. You will be required to take care of them. They are not my responsibility. Now, if you need my assistance, I will help you out. I will watch them while you are in school. I will take care of them during that period of time. If you're out at work or trying to improve your life situation, I got you. But baby, if you have plans to put your freakum dress on and go run the world like a girl, baby, I can't do it. You need to pay a babysitter similarly to what I did for you. I took full on responsibility for my children because they were mine. They wasn't my mama's. They wasn't my daddy's. It was me who brought this life into the world. And as I encourage a lot of young women day after day, you owe them babies everything. Now, if you need a break, we understand mental health concerns. We're going to come get that baby so you can get you some rest. That makes sense. But it's not my responsibility to be your number one drop off spot for your children. I'm sorry. So call me petty, call me whatever. That doesn't, diminish my love for them. But again, I'm a millennial, excuse me, I'm a what, Gen Xer? I'm a Gen X
Mhm.
mom that's building, grandma that's building a business. I am a Gen X mom that's writing books. I'm in these streets ripping and running. I don't sit down. So, baby, your children will be extremely neglected if you left your children with me. I promise you, DCP&P would be at my door because kids would be in here in front of a TV while I was out. So, rather than do the children a disservice, go on and keep your kids, baby. Make other arrangements. And that doesn't mean I don't love you, but grandma got a life. Grandma got a life. Grandma's still dating. What's up? What? Do you have anything to add to that conversation, Tam? I know you heard most of it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not in the grandma phase yet,
And you
but
shall not be for
I
a
shall
long,
not be for
long,
a while.
long time.
But
You
I
did add the
understand.
auntie perspective,
I
so
think
auntie perspective as well.
I think the hardest part about that is just, the generations are different in a sense that once sometimes, not all, but once they have a child at times when if they feel like they've missed their childhood, then they want to grab that back. And so a lot of that you might see might be, well, I still am 21 or I still am whatever age, and that's the reason why they do that. But my dad, most of our generation got the speech before we went to college. You bring a child home, you go take it. Most of our generation, the baby boomers didn't play that. You know what I mean? The baby
Nope.
boomers. That was my biggest fear because that was the speech my father gave me before going to college. Like, hey, You bring a child home, you come home and take care of it. That's what he told me. So I was pretty careful and good.
That's what you were supposed to do.
That
Amen.
part.
Amen. Amen. Shout out to Mr. Strong.
He definitely said that. He said, we gonna love the baby, but you coming home. That's what he said. You want to stay in college? Then, yeah.
We're gonna do this another way. You're gonna do college the remix.
Right.
Right.
College the remix.
It's
Because
a real different world.
So yeah, thank you all for tuning in. You are listening to Unhinged Live. I'm your host, your girl Keita, also known as Tilted Halo, sitting alongside my good girlfriend Karen Sims of Twisted Threads LLC. We have the lovely princess at the table with us on tonight, the beautiful one herself, Miss Natural D, giving out all them rich auntie vibes and things. And of course, one of my favorite teachers. I'm so happy you're here, Tam. Minister Tam Williams. So look, before we get into this marriage conversation, do y'all mind if we bust out a quick interview with this beautiful trailblazer sitting here with us on tonight?
Thank you.
Yes, this your time to shine, girl. You know I got you. You know I got you. So,
go ahead, keep asking me.
No, when you first came in on the show, of course, I mentioned some of your many accolades. And one of the things, again, you are nominated for a Trailblazer Award.
I'm excited about that too.
Yes.
I had to get a dress. I'm like, oh, I'm excited to go. It's this weekend, so I'm excited about it.
Yes. So listen, talk to us about the first book you actually wrote.
That book is my baby because it was birthed out of a real place. That book is Newlywed Confidential because I got married. What would be considered at that time? Oh, I got married at 30. But now the eras have changed, right? I got married at almost 30. I got married at, and I felt like I had my own house, I had my own car, I had my own stuff, and so I didn't move from Mama's house into our house. I had my own things, and so I kept thinking, to myself, like, all right, God, I met the one, you confirmed the one. This is easy. It's about to be easy breezy street over here. You know what I mean? Because I thought for sure you confirmed I did things right. I waited. It's it. It's easy peasy. And I came to realize that there was this I want to say transformation of mindset that happened. And that was the hardest thing. That was the shedding part. And I wanted to be real with some people about it because I felt like many people can meet the one and they still don't articulate that shedding. A little bit of grief for an independent woman. Let's be honest. Okay. A little bit of grief. She's sad at herself already. A little bit of grief that happens when you go from one stage to the other. And so I really kind of wanted to put voice to that so that people wouldn't be afraid and run away. Because in year one, me and Raymond looked at each other like, do you still want to do this? Because we were both independent. Very independent. He had his own house. He was in the military. I was working in the school system. We was like, we don't have to do this. But it was God's will that we do it. But he was shedding our mindset. Because the whole idea of marriage is God showing us how much, right, he loves us and works with us through it. And the biggest thing that I hear from singles is, either they have the list that's up to here, but then you also shouldn't marry potential. That's just dumb, because then what you're doing is you're like, oh, he's gonna be. No, you better accept it. You better know at baseline. You better know the behavior that you desire to see at baseline, and then you sign up for the development process. So that's the part I did not realize, because I thought once I got to the altar that, hey, he met all the check marks, boop, bang, bang, boom, and that was it. And God was like, now you walk with, and now you grow more, and now you shed more. But we can't get married with this idea that they don't have any developing to do. because they are going to have developing. But as single women, you get to decide what are you willing to develop with. That's the part. You don't have to accept anything that comes to your doorstep, but you do have to say, this is the thing that I can help, be with in the process of developing. Now, you're not going to see everything because I didn't see every single thing Raymond had to develop, right? And he didn't see everything I had to develop. But is this the person that I can handle and walk through with their development process? And as an older woman, you need to know that, because we want to run. We are a runner. We are a track star. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. We be like,
because you've already done it. You've already lived by yourself. You know how to handle yourself. You know how to do all of that. So it's like, why am I wasting my time? But the reality is that you are going to change. And you're going to change. He's going to change. And you got to give it that solid 5. I say 5 years, not 1, 5 for that shedding of the mindset, the merger to come together, because it's going to be a lot of that, and a lot of people aren't honest about that part. That's all. I'm not saying hard, I'm saying development, because that in reality, that's what it is. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, it's developing together. Yeah. So I love, because I felt like all I was told was, don't divorce, pray and make sure it's God's will. And I did all that. So I was a little shocked.
Well, I'm absolutely grateful for your 5. You gave 5, which is the number of grace. And I know in many conversations, I always tell these young ladies, hey, you don't even know him yet. Right. Try and wait at least 3 years before you bring another life into this situation.
Yes.
Spend this time bonding, getting to know his quirks and idiosyncrasies. You need to know who you're dealing with before you introduce another player on the stage. And again, it's not necessarily that we're dating a representative. We're just dating someone and engaging someone that we know at this particular stage in life. It's exactly what you said.
And I always say that the reason why singleness is so imperative, and I hope to one day do a podcast, bring my podcast back. It's just been a strong motherhood season, but why singleness is so important is because you guys you get the grit when you're single, and you got to be a woman of not just grace and femininity, but you've got to be a woman of grit. Like, when this thing gets on my nerves, how am I going to intercede about it? How am I going to interact with it? Am I just going to go run to my girlfriend's house? You got to have grit. And single women are some of the strongest women you will ever meet. And that's why the single season is so imperative to me. And people brush it off like, you got hips and thighs next to you. But I am so glad that God did not allow me to get married a single year earlier than almost 30, because I don't know if I would have had that grit. Do you see what I mean? The grit. There's got to be a little bit of grit in there along with grace, but you got to have some fight. And mind you, my husband fine to me. He is great to me. But and when you get married older, which that's the trend, right? People aren't getting married much at 22. 23, 20. That's an anomaly, really, now at this point.
Yeah.
People getting married at 30 something and above, almost 50, like older. That means you've got to be able to handle when you are processing through things. And I could tell you so many things, because me and my husband, very independent mindset people. He's a businessman and I have my own career, and then just even having to, in certain seasons, like right now, I've had to let go of my career to raise my children. And then and I'm starting to investigate what my career looks like now, but it's been a give and take, all the way through. But I do know that the big picture is great. It is it really is. Once you get, it got good for me. It got good for me. The first 5 were tough. But it got good. But that's why I do, y'all know I do renewals every 5, but that's why. Grace, give us a new measure of grace.
That's it.
You know what I mean?
It.
Because it is a journey, just like it is with our relationship with God. You know how you go through seasons where you don't pray at all and you pray a lot? It's the same. It's literally mirrors. it mirrors the exact same relationship. So
Mm-hmm.
that's my
It sure does.
that's my
It sure does.
if you go
Y'all, you
through
know
a
my
season,
testimony.
girl,
You know
so
my testimony.
yes,
I was a wife for 16 years, so I'm not sitting up here talking out the side of my neck as if I don't know anything.
right. Yeah.
And I'm actually I'm just, I had a moment with Karen where she told me to go take a nap because I got a little weepy eyed when I considered some of the words she shared with me as to why
Yeah.
I'm walking with her through this season.
Listen, you better have you a sister. You better have you a sister to walk through these seasons. And I
She got one
right
though.
now. I got one in my back pocket right now. You better. I'm
See,
sorry. That is
listen,
essential. That is essential.
And
I'm like,
and
what?
you know, I'm trying to stay silent because I know we got a whole portion, but I'm going to speak on this right
Okay.
here. And I said this to my fiance Alfred. I was like, if it wasn't for her, I'd be gone. And it's because of who she is,
Yeah.
where she will call and be like, I'm just calling so that to do a check-in. Is the body count 0? Are you keeping your attitude in check? Is Karen showing up? Which version?
Let me tell you, that's a gift, sis. That's a gift.
I am blessed.
That's
I am blessed. I'm blessed because when you talk to a fella and you tell him she the reason why I'm still here. In his mind, he's thinking, y'all been talking about me behind my back. I was like, you don't even
Nope.
understand. That's not
Listen,
even a comment. She knows me. So
right.
she's coming at the standpoint of, even if he was ratchet, even if he didn't do the right things, it's like, all right, Karen, now your mouth could get reckless and take the sneakers off. I know he
put the
got.
Vaseline back in the cabinet. That's right, man.
These are real conversations that we had. So it's not even, and I do the same thing for her, but it's
Yes.
one of those things to have somebody who I'm blessed that not only has she had the experience of being a wife, but even in this season of her singleness right now, it's a gift because I can have those calls and those conversations about, all right, I'm going to the next level. And I'm a runner. So listen, I am not in real life, but when it comes to relationships, honey, I'm a gold medalist. Okay. Don't come over here with no foolishness, but we gonna talk about that. But
single women are a gift to married women. And I'm gonna tell you, I always hear, don't talk to single women, and I hear that. If they not wise and they gonna tell you to run, then no, they aren't. But single women are available, their ears to hear, and they discern very well. When married women are good at giving counsel to one another, but sometimes to help you, the person, let's get outside of the husband and wife, like to help you, the person, through what you're walking through.
yeah,
The women are essential gift. And another thing I'm gonna say, and I'm gonna let y'all continue, is that the reason why it's great is because you can't bring everything to him.
yeah.
You've got to sometimes vet it. Sis, am I out there right now?
You been on the phone with us, girl.
Right.
I'm like, I'm gonna need you to bring that back, Karen, and consider this. And Brother Alfred actually had a cheat sheet that was absolutely predestined for him to find his space into Karen's heart, because I was able to assist her in translating what this gentleman was saying to her. And I don't know if you recall this or not, Karen, but I believe I said to you, this man is getting ready to ask you to marry him about a week before he did it. And then the next thing you know, you send me a picture of a ring on your finger. Do you recall those moments, my sister?
I recall all of those moments. I do. I do. And part of the reason why that was an important conversation, for context, Alfred wanted to get married like the first 3 months. He was like, all right, I'm good. I know anything I need to know. And I was like, sir, that's not happening. We not do you want a quick marriage and a quick divorce, or let's build the foundation together. And so we started in prayer. And I remember telling Keita, we praying for 90 days. And at the end of that 90 days, because I had a plan, girl.
Let's get into how older women don't play. I did the same thing to Raymond. I said, we got to fast, sir.
But here is Alfred, and I had to, I'm telling his business a little bit, but I won't tell it all. I promise. 14 days he came in with a ring.
Wow, Raymond.
In my mind, I'm off the hook for 90 days. We agreed. So I was like, okay, I'm chilling. I'm chilling. He was like, oh no, this it right here. And literally when I told Keita it was a micromanage, because I was like, I'm confused. Wait a minute. This is not the plan. This was not what we said it was gonna be. and then here we are. It's like, wait, what is happening here? This was not the plan. Because I'm a very goal oriented. Here's the track. These are the things that we need to do. But she had that question, and I'm sitting here like, what? No, we good. Like, we got 67 more days before we gotta have this conversation. But
I mean, Raymond heard quick too. He told me after the fact that he had brought a ring quick, and he was like, "Oh, she ain't gonna like that." So he ended up buying a new one. But I mean, I was the same. I think when you get older, you're very much so like, "Hey, hold up, hold on," But just so thankful you have that relationship, and you're still gonna need her. Yes. But it's gonna be a need her in a different way, because you're gonna see God. You're gonna see God in all of your relationship and what He's developing in you and the purpose for your relationship. Yeah. But those girlfriend relationships, as well as your single season, gives you the grace and the grit. It gives you both. Because I tell I've seen some people, divorce and things like that, which I'm not judging anyone's situation, but I always tell some of the men, but did she have grit? You know what I mean? Because that you gotta have it.
Gotta have it.
You gotta have it. You gotta, because for some reason, I wish I had the story that was like, oh my gosh, everything was perfect, and it was the Lord's will, and we just gotta Raymond just have the developing story where we got married older, God told us fast, and we had to grow. I have the growth marriage story. I love his dirty socks now, but I didn't. In year one, I did not.
In 5 years. What?
And he didn't love mine. He didn't love mine either. But I'm thankful for my story now, because I have so much more wisdom to give people the truth. It was God's will, and it wasn't simple, but it became beautiful.
Yeah.
And see, and I'm grateful that we're sitting here and there's so much information with the girlfriends and the wives and Cold Cash, Karen Sims Harrell. I'm practicing. I'm sorry, y'all. Her new name is Cold Cash. We'll get into that later. But just having the real conversation about what really happens when you get married, and really trying to make sure that we are focusing on developing the marriage and not necessarily focusing on the wedding celebration. Oh, yeah. They're two totally different things, because we all gonna get prettied up, and we gonna have these hairdos, and we gonna have these outfits that match, and it's gonna be glitter, there's gonna be cake, it's gonna be cake and libations and dancing. But when the music stops, here you are with someone who may have actually gotten on your nerves in the middle of the ceremony, dressed in all their fineries. Yeah. Hey, we don't prepare people for the reality of marriage as in depth as we need to. From my perspective, as far as the good, the bad, the ugly. And like I like to say, and I think I said to someone recently, I was like, let me tell you something. You need to marry somebody that you could fight with. I mean, fight dirty. And that brother get up and still love you tomorrow. Woo. That's who you need to marry.
Listen, and I'm going to give you a quick.
I'm going to dribble water on that.
Listen.
Pour one out for the homies. I'm sorry.
My next book title, which, I'm in the development process of it, but it's called A Fresh Yes. For marriage, because there are times where you have to come back.
Yeah.
Your yes. Because I'm a woman that is fighting for covenant. I am. I'm not gonna be in these streets not fighting for what God has created. You know what I mean? And so that's why I renew often, because I do need to have a fresh, okay, God, I remember what you said. Because you are, Karen. You're gonna have to go back to your why. You are. You are. You are. But
I'm going back to my why 5 days before the wedding. Okay, that's why it is imperative for you to be here. Like, who's out there? So we've been engaged for a year. And okay, we've been engaged longer than we were dating
I hear
because
you.
because folks were like, it don't take that long. It don't take this much. But I knew I was waiting for something and I couldn't explain it to anybody else. And the interesting thing was once I got the confirmation of the thing that I was waiting for, that I didn't know what it was, everything else fell into alignment.
Look at that. Look at
Everything. I was like, okay, I understand this thing. And I'll tell you the thing that pushed me over the top was flowers.
Wow.
And here's the reason why. Alfred is a romantic when it comes to flowers. He's been bringing me flowers since we first met. All of the things. I promise you, our first date, he was telling the waitress, I need you to treat us right because I'm trying to make her my girlfriend. So y'all be on point tonight. Like, so he was very thoughtful. But these flowers I felt like were not for me. And I promise you, Keita and I, you know, Keita, we had the conversation, my twin, it was like every woman wants flowers. And I said, the challenge for me is that this is a task for you. This is a task for you. And it wasn't until recently we had gone to visit some friends and we stopped at a farmer's market and he got a bouquet made specifically for me. And it wasn't a lot of money. In his mind, when I told him, because I tell him what I want, I know, keep going. If you thinking small, buy 2 of them. Like, I want bigger and better. And he's like, this girl just ain't never satisfied with these flowers. And I couldn't explain it to other people. I know Tilted was like, are you nuts? I was like, I just don't know. I'm telling you, them flowers ain't for me. And I was like, I don't know who them flowers for, but they're not for me. And it wasn't because I wanted a specialized flower, but it was because I wanted the revelation of you are thinking about me in the thing that you're doing. And even though it's a task, because he would always say, I would always bring my mother flowers. Well, one, I'm not your mama. And, you know, so Karen came out in that moment, but it was like, I can't explain it to him. And he got it. And we got the flowers. And I mean, I was almost like brought to tears. And it was flowers. It's a farmer's market. They were beautiful. Now we have a florist. And they talk about, this is what I want for Karen. This is what I want for my Karen. Because it wasn't, in times past, other people didn't bring flowers. And it was an issue. Now I got a man who bringing flowers and I still got an issue. But it was because I said, I don't want you to feel like you have to spend money to please me. I just want to know that there's a thought process behind it. And ever since then, well, no issue. He makes the arrangements himself. And I see him in the flowers. And now it don't matter whether it's, well, it matters, but you know, I ain't gonna tell him. It don't matter how many flowers it is, but because it's his heart that he's sharing with me and it's not a task.
And as you're talking, what do you hear in that? Natural D, and what do you hear in that, Nikita? What do you hear when she's saying what she's saying?
Oh, I heard you didn't want flowers out of automation. You wanted it you wanted it to be thoughtful. You didn't want it to just be, oh, this is automatic. No, I want intention behind it.
And that to me is development.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I what I heard from what Karen was sharing was how he was, the word I'm going to use is familiar, but it's not necessarily the word I want to use.
Yeah.
He was compromising, so to speak, to make sure he conformed. That's it. He was conforming himself to make sure he was able to outwardly express that he heard her. So he he changed it up because he heard her. He wasn't just like, oh, she just jaw jacking. He was actually paying attention. His ears was open.
Yeah.
His heart was open even wider to
Yeah.
the point where he was very intentional about every baby's breath put in that vase, every lilac, every lily, every orchid that began to show up at Karen's door.
And so
I go ahead. I heard the conforming part of the courtship
absolutely
with the goal of marriage. Mm-hmm.
There was two things that I heard: the development of him, and then the expectation of us to not allow that development piece. That's hard. That's hard.
You see, and I had to keep accepting flowers for. It took 2 years.
See, did you hear that?
So I need you to know it took 2 years. This wasn't like, oh, in 3 weeks we got to that, and I had to accept the flowers and be angry. I had to accept the flowers and be like, these ain't even for me. I had to accept the flowers and not discourage him from bringing more flowers. Now I failed at the not discouraging part. I failed at that part.
Right, but what I hear mostly there, that is one piece of their relationship that had to be developed, and those are the things that as singles we don't think, we just think it's just automatic, and it's not. The truth
it's really not.
But now
it
really it's beautiful. And now it warms your heart because you're like, he got it now. He got it now. But
and honey, them flowers is like $15.99, but they look like, to me, they $100 for every, and I promise you, it's even something when I come in and he'll try to like sneak them so they're done. You know, it's like, okay, I'm a buy these flowers, and I'll I'm fixing them up. And when I catch him fixing them, or I catch him putting it, and I see his hands at work, that's my thing. That's not everybody else's thing, you know. And Keita, she laughed. She's like, this is the story of two nerds that found each other.
I am a loud laugher. That is
listen.
it
is the truth.
I was like, Lord, these geeks is in love.
Yes, it is the truth.
I'm not gonna put my husband out there, but I want to give you a real life situation of myself. But I'm a communicator. I love communication. I love communicating. So my husband's a straight to the point kind of guy. D, you know that. Y'all know my husband.
Yeah, we know.
So he would like come home and he would just go, like when he would come home from trips, landed. And I'm like, landed. All right. I wanted to hear, I can't wait to see you. I missed you. Things like that. And so now he got it now. He'll be like, landed. I cannot wait. Because you gotta give a little words before you come home and get goods, right?
Listen,
so that's probably all he would need is to say, I landed. And that would be okay for him. But for me, I needed just a little bit more. And so that again, and that happened at year 15. See what I'm saying? So you're always going through little bitty pockets of like, learn me now. Like when I was maybe in year 7, it didn't click to me because I had little babies, right? And I was just like trying to do diapers. But now that I have kids that can bathe, like one's up bathing themselves and doing everything, now I can't wait to see you tonight.
I love it.
I'm sorry.
I love it. Yes.
That's what I need. You know,
that's it.
That's just where we are. And I hope that my voice makes you feel comfort to know that I'm in a great marriage, but it definitely was a developed marriage.
No, I appreciate that because I came into this evening with a lot of animosity, and Tilted will tell you, she's like, no, we're gonna talk about it. I'm like, we're gonna talk about it, but it's gonna be red cups and a lot of fanning. That's all I can tell you. Because I just have some thoughts on how we can better prepare our single folks for real life conversations. So it's no secret for me because he's a business owner, very independent. He's got plans for legacy for his children. Same for me, that we had to have the prenuptial agreement conversation because I've got stuff. Okay. And it was like, well, what do we do with that? And we had that conversation when we first met of you got your stuff, I got my stuff. We live in states that have varying rules and laws that say I can't do what I want to do for my children and grandchildren unless we put it in the prenup. Like we could put it in the will. And so there was a process for that as well, where we went to an estate planner and had the conversation. And it was like, listen, this is not for I'm gonna leave you, because I promise you in my mind this is till death do we part, and that's all I'm gonna say right now. However, when it came to it, it was even after death, the will can be trumped by probate, but the prenup can't.
Got it.
And so information where it's like we romanticize everything. And I said this to Keita today. I said, I don't really have the moments of like, oh my goodness, I'm overwhelmed by love. Look at him over there breathing. He's just so wonderful. Oh, look at the light glistening on his head. I'm like, he getting on my last nerve. I love him. He getting on my last nerve because I
He
want
ain't my strength.
done.
But but you know what, y'all? That's delicious love to me. You want to know why? Because that's approving love.
Yeah.
You're proving love, not because it's not how you feel and all emotional. I never understood that love is emotional, but it is also an action. And I began to feel Raymond's love through his action and his romance both. But it just made me see him in a different light. And it's everyone's relationship is different. Everyone has a different flavor.
Yeah.
But as you get, most people on this table are 30 and up, it will look a little different for each of us. It may not be that 20 something love.
Not at all.
And I think my biggest thing was to have space for my sister Natural D, who's doing this. The same thing. I'm doing this at 50. These different conversations.
Sorry.
These are different conversations. And we're praying about things in a different way because we've lived different lifestyles earlier. And now it's about what can we build and leave. That's like literally, and this is in the kingdom. This is legacy for our family. This is, our relationship with so many different things and not just each other. And so my challenge is, and it's my view from the petty pew, is we need to be able to see more examples of marriages. Because if we only see it's got to be perfect, there's no arguments, there's no disagreements, there's no, no, I don't like him today, but I love him today. Like to be real with that, most single people, me included, will have walked away from what could have been because we are just saying my relationship doesn't look like so and so and so and so, not knowing that God gives us the ability. And this is one thing that I say to him all the time. We get to create this definition of marriage that has never been seen. Oh man, listen, that's never been seen before.
Go ahead.
That part.
It's a church finger in the room. It's a church finger in the room.
It's not gonna look like anything. It's not gonna look like our parents, because if he come in here trying to do what my father did,
Lord,
he's going in the home. Lord, don't ask how he gonna get there. He's going in the home. But it's certain things that is just like, he's very traditional in certain things, and then he's over the top in other things. And it's very interesting because we are both communicators. And so really it's got to be, all right, it's my turn to talk, it's your turn to listen, it's your turn to talk, it's my turn to listen. Like, so we have to be intentional with the way that we do things. But here's one of the things that I created I created the evidence of a love language that he enjoys. I call him OCD. It is what it is. He loves the details. So anytime we do something, I have an itinerary of what it is, the timing of what we need to do. We got free time on there. You would think that I bought this man a Rolex. by typing some words on a paper. Everything was going crazy. We only had 70 days to plan this wedding. I reminded him this was his idea. I was busy. Okay. I was busy. And he said, I asked you to marry me. So I figure I need to kind of get the ball rolling, or it may not happen just because life was happening. He gave me all of the things. I wrote it all down. We weren't really seeing eye to eye on the wedding stuff until I wrote it down. And then he had a piece of paper to read from morning till evening. He ain't got no questions. He don't care nothing about what's going on. He really didn't care about who RSVP'd or not, because it's like it's gonna be some chicken over there. When the chicken run out, you was too late. So
I love it. All I hear as you're talking, Karen, is just the beauty of the process.
yeah,
And I decided early that, or not decided, I really believe that God gave me the message of process, because I was that one that had the 2-parent home, and I looked at and everything looked perfect, and I went to college, and then after I went to college, then I got married, and it just, God was like, no, the middle is where the good stuff happens. You keep thinking this perfection thing is the thing that is the litmus test, or that you're meeting. Well, I can't even give you no meat or no message if you don't develop it all. That's what I came to see about marriage, about life. And I even knew, like, early in meeting Raymond, he was like, your ministry is going to be relationships. And I was like, oh, good. I'm going to tell women how to wait on the Lord for their man of God.
I'm sorry.
And that was not
Nope.
not what God had in mind.
He was like, psych.
He was like,
Right.
my friend laughed at me because I think it was before my wedding. I was like, I cannot wait to submit to that man of God. And she was like, like, laughed at me. I'm like, how dare you? This is the man that God has sent to me. And now I see that God was like, you must go through a whole process, ma'am. And not bad, but just I want you to see so you can articulate it. Now, and I hope nobody gets negativity from what I'm saying.
No.
absolutely.
But the beauty of how God loves us, and how he walks with us, and how he talks with us, and how he keeps fighting for us. And that's really how I want to articulate relationships and marriages. Yeah.
I love that. I love that.
And that's the part that you're right, people don't see unless you have a household like mine. So I saw my parents heal from infidelity. I saw that. Like, people don't get to see that. I got to see that. Now, of course, my brothers, they're 5.5, 11 years older than me. You know, my oldest brother, he know where all the bodies are buried. But I got to see the reconciliation and the movement forward of their story, of their marriage. And then, you know, and then to see my dad, he remarried after my mom, but to see the difference even between that marriage, because unfortunately it did dissolve. But in my mind, I'm like, okay, but I still have the litmus of seeing the growth and understanding, listen, life is going life. And it's what you do with it. And it's what you take to the Lord. It's how you process it. It's how you develop. It's how you grow. And it's how you choose to stay.
I love it. Y'all been on a Honda tonight. Like, I'm excited.
Hey, yes, I felt that. It's a Toyota in the driveway. Oh, I'm sorry.
I love it. I love it. You know, the one conversation, and I had this with one of my sisters and single sister, and it was sort of like, well, you know, I'm sure you'll stay for anything except for infidelity. And the thing that I said in that moment was, I've made the decision that there is nothing that's going to break this up. There is nothing, because I don't know what God's direction will be for me if that's part of our testimony. Mm-hmm. And so if I go into it with a preconceived notion, I still get to keep my track shoes on. And there's no submission in that, because it's like, all right, I'm gonna wait. And it's almost like you call things to you. And this is the part where it's so very spiritual. And I don't mean to be, but it just is. If you're talking covenant, this is a big deal for me. And so I explained to him, a lot of things, this is different because I married a couple of kids. I sent them off to be married. I've stood with other people during their weddings, but this is mine. And for mine, the covenant portion means that this is me, God, you, like literally us together. And so unless God says, this is the thing that you get to be released, everything else keeps us connected, because once we put that into the atmosphere, the enemy is like, all right, well, let me send some, cute chick with some thick hips. All right, come over here if you want to. That's not what I'm saying for me. And I know a lot of people are like, well, wow, she's so smart. Why would she say something like that? Because I believe that God's plan allows for us to speak the things and say, God, no holds barred. So whatever we need to walk through, I know you're going to give me direction in it. But the enemy hasn't heard me say, I'm going to break this up if so-and-so happens. If he doesn't have a job, if he doesn't have the money, if he doesn't do this, if he doesn't do that. Now, I got to work on my mouth, because sometimes I might say it out loud. But, we working, we praying. Oh, Jesus, we praying.
Let me get my fan with you. Hold on.
We praying on that. But I have made the decision in my mind that seems abnormal to people who either don't fully understand covenant.
They don't.
Or just think that this marriage thing is, because I got to tell y'all, this wedding we put together in 70 days. I don't know nothing about this. Give me a conference to put on. I could put on a conference with 200 people and not blink my eye. A wedding?
It's gonna be beautiful. I like, sometimes I wish I almost would have had the simpler wedding. My mom still wanted, to be a big part of that, but the simple wedding it's gonna be delicious. You gonna feel it. I don't know.
We're gonna be on the beach. That was the only thing I asked him. I said, take me to the water, because that's where the Lord speaks to me.
So.
Yeah.
Feel the anointing. Like, weddings now at this point in my life, they just send me into straight tears, because I understand the yes. I understand.
Yes.
Okay. I understand. That's why I named the next book that will come out is about the yes.
Mm-hmm.
But
I love it.
That is serious. And I know the fight as women and the sacrifice that is for that you meant to.
Mm-hmm.
Sacrifice.
Amen.
It is. And, I don't want to, throw it under the bus, because this was something that I had to, there is a selflessness that comes with saying yes.
It is.
There is a selflessness, because I want my way. Okay. Yeah. I haven't had to check in with nobody. When God said it, he say it to me, and I execute. I ain't got to check. When he say the same thing to you, you get a different word. Are we in alignment? And I have to trust that some of the messages that came to me specifically from my life and my family will now come through my husband. Good Lord. Ooh.
I love it. That's gonna change. Soon one day you're gonna be like, I'm so glad I don't even, like, soon. But I know it's not gonna be, it's gonna take.
I'm learning, and it's actually a decent journey, because God prepared me for this. Like, I promise you, I have a journal that I've been writing since probably 2018 of just random days. Dear husband.
Aww,
dear husband. And even to the point where I just reread one, and I talked about how I felt like I was cheating on him before he got here. And not just in a physical sense, but I felt like I was cheating on him because I wasn't doing things to the potential that I knew I needed to be doing them at, to be by his side. And honey, it read different now.
Listen,
all my eyes, it read different now when it's like, oh wow, there was purpose in this, but God was preparing me for this through every other relationship. Like, I know when people used to, you would see somebody, and I've got exes, and they'll get married or they'll have other relationships, and then you think in your mind, well, why not me? Like, I could have. No, I couldn't have. one, the body count wouldn't stay 0, and then I'd be on cell block D wearing
And I'd
orange.
be bringing you, cookie money for your commissary.
All of that.
And
but
yeah,
on the
because,
other side of that, it's so much more than that. But I appreciate what you said, Natural D, as well, because that's a portion of things that it's just so taboo that we don't talk about. There's an opportunity for reconciliation. There is an opportunity for families to walk through, and it could be anything. It could be anything, but being able to see that restoration, I'm sure has impacted you even on how you think about relationships. So,
well, not only that, it also for me. So the infidelity happened before I was even thought of.
wow,
So I wouldn't be here. Like, so to that end is where I'm like, okay, but you don't even know what destiny and vision and purpose God is trying to bring birth into the earth. It's not just about you. It's not.
It's never just about you. Right? I know. You better hold that red cup up.
I love that. Oh my goodness. That just, I don't know why in the world that moved me, but that was so profound to understand what else, because there was purpose in the marriage still. So even through difficulties, there's purpose in the union. So I love
even
that.
through difficulties. I love it, through the growth.
All right, Tam.
So
I ain't
listen,
the whole
we
church
got to go ahead and listen. I want to go ahead and say thank you again, Tam, for stopping by and blessing us with all of this anointing that you carry.
I had guys. So much fun.
We're gonna have you back because this was very impromptu. I got to put you on the flyer and do you in the intro video just right.
This is one of my passion topics. So thank you for having me. I can't fix of your wedding, and girls, keep being great sisters because she needs her sisters. All right.
Amen. We love you, Tam. Tell the family we said hello. Hey,
yes.
Love it.
That was amazing.
That was awesome.
Oh my goodness. And you know how we do here. Do you feel better? You got to talk it out with one of the greats, one of the most transparent ones. Yes.
You did. Look, everybody need to listen to instead of Steve Harvey and them.
Okay, come on. All right, look, let me go ahead and acknowledge what I see happening up in the chat. Of course, I see we have Ali Rusnak watching. We have Ashley Wilson joining us on tonight. And Miss Mary, we see you. Thank you so much. Yes, this was very good, Miss Mary. And listen, if you thought it was a blessing, you go ahead and tell somebody about this broadcast. Like, share. Y'all are street team, So if you're enjoying what you hear week after week here on the platform, y'all already know what it is. We do what it is here at Unhinged just for you, because as Natural D put it out there ever so eloquently earlier, life be lifing. And though we are children of the Most High God, we are not exempt from our own humanity. And we've created a safe place here where we can have respectful conversation about basically what's really going on. All right. So what's really going on right now is, of course, we're preparing for Karen's coronation on this upcoming weekend. Oh, Lord. Oh, I'm going to try not to cry on tonight. We're preparing for the coronation. We also got a little bit more to talk about before we move on over into receiving the deposit from our in-house master life coach. I see here on our conversation sheet that something happened today in the political arena. So I'm going to go ahead and toss the mic to you, Natural D. You want to go ahead and lead the way in this dialogue, sis?
Well, we must bid adieu to the relationship of the GOP breakup and the Speaker of the House. Y'all, how in the world, in the heat of the night, Brother McCarthy has lost his job. Well, I guess when you don't, dot your I's and cross your T's on the budget, because, divorces usually end because of the money. So when the money not right, you got to go. You're not leading. No, who's submitting to that? So yeah, I just apparently there's a shakeup on, in the House of the Representatives seat is now open, and we'll see what happens. And Brother Jeffries, Hakeem and them said, don't holler at the Democrats because we ain't got you, bro.
The Democrat delegation said stay on that side.
Yeah, they said the door is closed. So yeah, the House just getting shaken up, and we'll see what happens. Any thoughts, Karen? I know you're gonna give thoughts and prayers to somebody. So
I am gonna give thoughts and prayers, but you know who I'm gonna give thoughts and prayers to? I'm gonna give thoughts and prayers to the interim Speaker of the House, who is a representative of North Carolina. Now, listen, some of us can't, express our personal views, so I'm gonna say these views I'm about to express are mine and mine alone, not any part of the rest of the show. But here's the deal. We just put somebody in charge who it took us a couple of extra months to approve our own state budget.
Oh.
So I need somebody to check the receipts, okay? Because we still over here waiting for last year's raises and they penny pinching. That's all I got to say for that. However, thoughts and prayers to McCarthy. You never know. There's a blessing in the hallway. So go ahead on there and shout. Because what should be happening with this Patrick McHenry, I'm going to see. Because I'm like, any other state, it'd be different. But y'all know I'm down here in this North Kakalaki, and they don't do no work over there, and they keep their job. The last time, probably 2 years ago, the budget didn't pass for 3 years. If I don't do my job for 3 years, y'all know where you going to find me? At your house. I'm up here at your house because I'm not gonna be able to afford nobody's rent nowhere. So that's just my only thing about that. These folks be ruthless. That's all I can say is literally don't sleep. Cause
don't sleep.
Girl, listen.
This is your PSA. November 7th to do your homework and your research and get out to the polls, because apparently we need to start requiring PhDs in finance. Like
something need to happen.
Something.
We need PhDs in finances, and we also need optimal health check reports. Because, as I caught a glimpse of what was happening with the ousting of this gentleman on today, I actually had to stop and look, because I was wondering if it was that other dude that keep going blank in front of the camera that they were actually escorting out the building. So I'm sending thoughts and prayers towards him and his family and whoever his advisement team is that continue to allow him to, be propped up in front of the country. What is the movie with the dude that was on vacation with his people, but he was dead, but they
Vacation with
Weekend at Bernie. So Mitch McConnell, that's his name, right? Yeah, Mitch McConnell giving me Weekend at Bernie vibes. They might want to just go ahead and retire him and have 2 empty seats, and of course run the risk of losing the power in the House. So listen, this is Unhinged Live. I'm your girl Keita, Tilted Halo in these streets, sitting alongside my good girlfriends Cole Cash, Karen Sims of Twisted Threads LLC. Joining us tonight, of course, is our sister deluxe, the beautiful Miss Natural D. She's sitting down there giving out all them rich auntie vibes. I know y'all see her because we most definitely do. So listen, I'm watching the clock, and we got a lot covered in this hour on tonight. We get to do what we want to do because it's our show, right?
That part.
This our show. We didn't get an opportunity to take a break on tonight. And before we move in, because I'm just gonna let my little Just Be outro, you're gonna wrap it up for us tonight, Karen, with your reflections of purpose. But before we go ahead and receive our fruitful blessings, I'm gonna ask you to put your DJ hat on for us and push these here knobs and buttons and share what we have in queue with the audience on tonight. Y'all got to listen to her and meet her personally um, quite recently, and I'm excited to be able to share what the people in my circle are doing, and they continue to make so many creative strides. I'm honored to be counted in the number. So go ahead, DJ Cold Cash Karen, do what you need to
Listen,
do.
this my last night as a single DJ. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's
Turn
get it.
it.
Yeah,
Ew.
yeah.
Bringing before you Serene Melody featuring Chev Robinson, and y'all just gonna enjoy this. So here we go. Genes and my DNA rise like a phoenix every day. Yeah, 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 yeah. I can't do too much for no one. It's my time, I can't trust no one. A human being bound to become a traveler through dimensions. A traveler through dimensions. A human being bound to become a traveler through dimensions. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Every song sound like a mantra, going bonkers. Currency is now just data, still need commas. Loyal to my growth till death before the sauna. Killing competition for real like Big Pharma. Moving light, stay out of sight, step out with armor. Watch me turn my pain into wealth, smiling from trauma. Flow buzz light, yeah, infinity beyond ya. Trying to slow down my ascension, me calmer. Barely heating up, playboy, still getting warmer. Once they see you as a threat, they turn informers. Moving silence with information. I'm the first in my generation that's finally generating. Elevate, don't hesitate, then create. You procrastinate, no time to wait, they love to hate. Elevate, don't hesitate, then create. You procrastinate, no time to wait, they love to hate. Repairing my genes and my DNA. Rise like a phoenix every day. Yeah, 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 yeah. I can't do too much for no one. It's my time, I can't trust no one. A human being bound to become a traveler through dimensions. A traveler through dimensions. A human being bound to become a traveler through dimensions. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Awesome.
All right, that's yes, siree. That's our girl. So look, y'all already know what it is. We are about to be fed, y'all, by our very own in-house master life coach, the queen herself, Karen Sims of Twisted Threads LLC. Take it away, sis.
Listen, we are super excited for the conversation that we were able to have tonight. And tonight, we want to just point us to two words tonight. Y'all know we always do a title, we always get at you. Tonight, we want to remind you, let's eat. Let's eat. Many of us have been preparing, and in this season, the last quarter of the year, also AKA known as harvest season, many of us are collecting things, and it's like, okay, this is the time that I want to get and fill my basket, but we got to remember to let's eat. We got to remember that the work that we've put in for the 3 quarters previously is what we're going to see manifested. If you didn't do nothing, you're probably going to be fasting. Let me just say that. But there's still time for you before the end of this harvest season. So we want to make sure that we're mixing and remixing, get those recipes together and get in the shop. Why? Because as Tilted mentioned earlier, she's not the only one crowning right now. She's not the only one on the verge of some greater things. I can't even say greatness because she's already dope. I know our sister Natural D is out here, and I'm not even gonna say nothing. because she's shining so bright on the sideline. She's shining bright from behind the curtain. Honey, the phoenix that's coming through, it's like, oh, shucks. When it comes to the table, your mind's going to be blown. And so we want to remind you today, because this weekend for me will literally be a celebration of the work that was put in, of what the recipe, that all of the ingredients that we mix together, of family, of friends, of tears and prayer, of failures and successes. But you know what we gonna do? Y'all know my favorite thing. I'm here for the cake, y'all. So let's eat. We want to remind you that whether you see us in these streets, just know great things are going on, and we're believing for greatness for you all. We're believing and we're celebrating because there's so many in our circle that are birthing new things, that are putting forth the completion of projects, that my mind is blown. Why? Because I'm gonna have so much cake in this season. And all I can tell you is I can't eat it all by myself. So we ask for you to come alongside us. Remember to share with your with your good girlfriends, good advice, good support, and make sure you sharing those recipes for your favorite peach cobbler. Make sure you sharing those recipes for the family mac and cheese. Why? Because it's about us building and creating legacy right in the corners where we're at. Y'all, it's harvest season. Let's eat.
It's harvest season. We finna get our grubby grub on, but I have to be honest with you, Karen. I don't know how I feel about giving up my peach cobbler recipe, because I make that with a whole bunch of love and from the heart, okay? And I might give you the recipe and everything, but it ain't gonna taste like it would taste if I had made, you know.
So what
But
I'm
anyway,
hearing
let me
is
get
you making the peach cobbler. Is that what you heard, Natural D? Because my sister think that I'm not smart. Clearly. I know what I'm doing.
I'ma holler at you, but I'm not putting it out here, because if I put it out here, I'm gonna have to charge. And you know, we're not trying to rob nobody. All right. That's all I'm gonna say about that right now. Do you have any parting words to share with the listeners and viewers on tonight, Natural D?
Listen, I'm here for that. It's harvest season. Come on and pick up what you planted, what you put into the earth, the dirt, what you allowed to die and grow. Listen, what you allowed to multiply. I'm here for it.
That's right. That's right. Because what happens is when we go into the harvesting season and we go up and we gather all of our stuff, baby, we end up with a barn load of bountiful blessings that are a simple reminder of just how intentionally Abba Father loves each and every one of us. It's harvest season, y'all. Thank you for tuning in with us tonight, those of you who hung out with us all night live. And thank you for tuning in to those of you who are going to enjoy the show on replay. We love you too. Everything counts. So check it out. If y'all have any thoughts and opinions, something y'all want to hear the tribe discuss here on the platform, the doors of the church inbox are open. Y'all know how to reach out. It's your girl, Tilted Halo, and the only thing I can say at this point is just be. It's a wrap, ladies. We out.